Hey there, welcome back for another review. So today's review is this here. Um, it's from a company called Hollystone.com, and it is an F181C. Now these here are sort of quite generic. They're rebranded a lot of different names, but this here one is an F181C. It's a little 6-axis gyro quadcopter that has altitude hold and headless mode, which is quite nice. So out of the box, it comes equipped with everything here with camera, except these landing legs. You need to put 4 screws in the landing legs to get you going. It also comes with a set of these here prop guards. I don't use them because I hate them. It turns small quadcopters into wind catchers straight away. But if you're new to flying quadcopters, you might want to fire them on there just until you're sort of used to not crashing or used to sort of flying them without crashing. But to be quite honest, they're more of a hindrance, but it's nice to have them. It also comes with a spare set of propellers, 4 propellers. It comes with 2 batteries, if I can find the batteries. It comes with 2 of them there. And a nice touch is that it actually comes with 2 of the chargers for the batteries, so you don't need to charge one after another. You can charge both at the same time. It also comes with a little USB card reader, and there's a 4 GB micro SD, a generic micro SD in the camera when it arrives, which goes in the back. I've tested the capacity of the batteries. They're 3.7 volt, and they were allegedly 750 milliamp hours. So I used one of these here little inline voltage and amp testers because they're not balanced batteries, so I couldn't use my balance charger. And the stated capacity was 750 milliamps. The actual capacity came out at 743 milliamps, which is very impressive. Usually they don't get anywhere near their stated capacity, and the other one was 746. So we're both in around the same, but they were both very, very close to the stated capacity, which is excellent. I'll just quickly show you. It comes in the box. The box is quite nice. I'm not really a sort of box fanatic, but the box is quite good. It also comes with an instruction manual. Here, the instruction manual, which is in English. I assume then if you're buying these and you're in different regions, they'll send you a language appropriate instruction manual, because this manual only has English. So I dare say, depending on what region you're from, it'll have different language. This isn't a sort of really badly translated Chinese manual. It's very easy to understand. The English is perfect, and it's very, very concise in its instructions about how to operate the quadcopter. A wee read through it and you'll be proficient in no time. It's very, very good. I'm very impressed with these. I've seen some really, really bad manuals from ones I've been sent to review, and this one here is perfect. It's correct for a start, which is always a bonus. So this here is the little transmitter that comes with it. It comes with a screen intact. You can't actually remove it easily, I don't think. And to be honest, I'm not going to start farting about that there. It's not backlit, which is the only sort of downside. Or if I've got that wrong, then somebody can correct me. But the first thing you'll notice about this here, if you know about quadcopters at all, is that the left stick, this is a mode 2, but the left stick is in the central position, which tells you straight away that it has altitude hold. If it doesn't have altitude hold, the stick is at the bottom, the throttle is at the bottom, and you push it up from the bottom and push it down to dethrottle. So if it's set in the middle position or the neutral position, then you know that the craft has altitude hold. It takes 4 AA batteries. In the back, you can put whatever you want in. I just put energizers in because I've found that the batteries in these little transmitters last quite a while. It's it's comfortable. It's a bit like a sort of PlayStation joystick quite a lot. The positioning of the buttons and the sort of control sticks. So this button here is the on button. We switch it on and you can sort of see from the screen it's set to 50%, which isn't really a true indication, because 50% isn't the actual half throttle. 50% is the throttle at which, so for instance, if I take this craft up into the air and then leave go, it'll say 50%, but the craft is not at 50% of its thrust capacity. So it's a wee bit misleading, but nothing major. So this here shows you the signal strength. That's the signal between the transmitter and the quadcopter. And this here is the battery. Now how accurate that is something that the second part of this video I'll have to review in detail, because quite a lot of them there, even in my Hubsan, it's not really accurate, and it goes from full to nothing in a very, very short period of time. So the buttons on the top then, one of them is a rates button, so you can change it from 25% to 50 to 75, 100. And if you're not familiar with rates, I'm not going to get into it too much, but basically the higher the rate, the more sporty or sort of acrobatic the flight will be, and the lower the rate then, the more stable it'll be. Basically the higher the rate, the more the gyro allows the quadcopter to tilt, which then in turn makes it go in whatever direction you're pointing faster. This here button here is a flip button, so we push this button, and then whatever direction you push on the right stick is the sort of orientation that it'll flip. The buttons in the front then, we have the video button, we have the camera button, and two buttons here, which to be honest I'm not really sure what they do. I assume one of them's headless mode, and I'm not sure whether it has return to home. That'll be in the second part of the video, we'll clarify it. Here is our trim buttons, which are quite nice because they're not doubled as anything else. We just have this little trim wheel, and if I start trimming, you can sort of see there that it's moving along, and to get in the neutral position, when we hit back, it does a long beep, and that's us back to the neutral position. Okay, so onto the quad, we have, it comes with the props on it, which are pretty good. I would sort of recommend investing in one of these here, a wee prop balancer, because on quadcopters that have a fixed camera, you don't have a gimbal to take out any of the jello, so balancing your props on these here little sort of fixed camera quadcopters is a real sort of must, because it helps you get jello free footage. These here are like £3. You can get them sort of all over the place. They're cheap as chips, and they're really, really good for balancing any sort of props. Like if you have any sort of bigger quadcopters, they're perfect. But even for these wee plastic ones, it does make a difference if you take the time to balance the props. Anyway, so this little camera here, which is allegedly a 720p, I'll upload some test footage here in the second part of the video. The little camera by default is sort of set pointing down at probably about a 30-degree angle. You can change the angle to straight ahead or actually pointing up towards the craft, but depending on how sporty you fly, or depending on what angle you want to look, you may want to adjust that little lens. The camera is attached onto the battery bay, and if we pull the battery bay back and open it up, you can see the battery, our other battery, is hooked up and inside the craft, ready to go. It's quite tight, the battery bay is quite tight, but you can get it closed. I've seen a lot worse. Quite like this one here because it has a little on-off switch. Quite a lot of them, just when you plug them in, it's on. Another little feature this one has, as well as being able to charge the batteries on the chargers, you can actually charge one of them on the other charger you get, and you can plug this little charger directly into a port on the side there, so you don't need to take the battery out, which is quite a nice little feature, because the batteries can be quite tricky. So it's little gears, you can see it's little nylon gears on the motors. You can get spare parts from, you can get spare motors, spare shafts, and you can upgrade the bearings within these here little assemblies from nylon bearings to the proper sort of proper steel bearings. We have the orientation lights here, and we also have a blue headlight. I'll just switch it on. There we are, you can see the lights now, and you can see the headlights. So with that off, with the transmitter off, we can see the flashing lights. We switch that on, and then once I'll just flip it over. Sorry. Once we bind it by pushing up and down, that's it now bound. We can see the lights are solid. It also has an arming function, which is quite nice. So quite a lot of them, whenever you actually bind it, that is it, ready to go. And if you just push up on the throttle, it'll take off. This one here has, the motors have the technology in them that if you stop the motor, it won't strip the gears. So to arm it then, we just take both sticks and put them in down and right and down and left, sorry, on the different sticks. So I'll just show you now. So if I just take this here, push them in, that's it, armed. So that's it, ready to fly. You'll see if I put my hand in there, it can stop the props without damaging or stripping the gears, which is a nice feature. Because if you have a sort of hard landing on grass, or if you land it awkwardly against an object, it's not automatically going to wreck your motors, or it's not automatically going to wreck your gears. Okay, and just pushing them in again disarms it. Another thing you can do is, if you're armed and you're bringing the craft down onto the ground, if you hold down on the throttle, once it lands, it'll disarm the motors. I'm not going to do it in here. I'll show you that there in the second part of the video. But overall, my first impressions before flying it, my first impressions are it's a nice sort of compact little craft. It's a nice size. So I'll just show you this here. So it's quite a standard size. This is my Hobson X4 Desire. It's quite similar in size to it. It's a part at the minute to get repaired, but it's quite similar to that there. So quite a lot of these here little small quadcopter, sorry, follow the same sort of size factor. Hey there, welcome back to another review. So today's review is a follow on then from what we done in the shop. So here I have this little wind speed tester. So we'll just switch it on and we'll see what the wind speed is. If I know how to switch it on, there we go. So if I hold that up, you can see that the wind speed is about 7 miles per hour. I'll just hold it out. Sort of 4 or 5, gusts up to 7. So it's a little bit blustery, but it's dying down now. So we'll just go on our check. So it's about 4 miles per hour. So nothing major. Quite calm, and it's about 17 degrees Celsius. So quite a handy little thing. It's cheap as chips, but we'll review that another day. Okay, so here we have the little quadcopter. So here's the camera. We'll switch it on. Set it flat. You'll see the lights are flashing. I'd switch on the receiver. Up, down, it's bound. You can see the lights have went solid. Sorry if you're seeing a cable. It is altitude hold, so it is holding its altitude quite well. It's drifting up slightly, but it's pretty good. So you can see that's just the direction stick I'm moving about now to stop it drifting. So what we'll do is we'll sort of go out in the field. We're going to do a range test, but first of all I'm going to turn the rates up. So that's 50%, so you can see it's a little bit sportier, a bit faster, and it sort of fights the wind a bit. We'll turn it up to 75. And it's quite responsive. Sorry about the sun, it's quite late in the evening here. Sorry if it's blinding. But yeah, so 75 is quite a good rate. We'll put it up to 100 and just sort of see what the footage is like at 100. So yeah, 100 is quite sporty too. So you can see it's quite fast when it's coming in the wind. So we'll take it out towards this tree here. This tree here is 150 meters. According to Google Maps, Google Earth, from where I'm standing. So we'll take it out towards that, fighting against the wind. And I don't have an FPV, it doesn't have FPV, so it's quite hard to see where I am. And I've crashed. I think I actually lost signal there. So yeah, we'll just see what happened.